really thankful that you've made some time to have a chat with us today, and a bit of a milestone as we're handing over your property in Perth over the coming weeks.
That's right.
So how have you found the process?
Yeah, it's quite exciting to talk about it now because, as you say, we're right at the end of the process. It's been a journey to get here, and now it's all coming together, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's gone really well. Coming in as someone that hadn't done this sort of thing before, sort of didn't know what to expect, but I was, helped along the way by all sorts of people. That really just made it a really smooth system for me to get there. And now we're talking landscaping and all sorts of things. So it's really coming together, which is awesome.
Full circle, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously really thankful that you've made some time to have a chat with us, being that I sat down with you, spoke to you a little bit about the state, spoke to you about, I suppose, some of the prospects, some of our forecasting and what we were hoping was going to happen in those areas that we were looking south of Perth.
Yes.
And you'd be happy to know that our forecasting and our projections and our numbers are pretty much spot on.
Yes.
And I believe you've done fantastic in your investment selection, and looking at the growth that you've received to date. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what's actually occurred over I think it was around about 18 months since we initially met. I think we put pen to paper a few months after that, and there was a few obviously questions from yourself. Obviously things that you wanted to be clear with. How have you found the process? How have you found the staff? And how have you found everything sort of come together for you?
Yes, I think having everything all in one place has been really helpful. So obviously starting off with the initial question of where you might choose to invest, and listening to your kind of, I guess, case for why Southern Perth was a good place. And as you said, it seems like it's paying off really well already. It seems like a really solid choice. Even just day to day kind of keeping up with different people in your management team around, choosing certain parts of the build, letting me have that input there as well. And just keeping me updated with what's happening too has been really helpful. And then referring to different people as well in Perth. So having that kind of, I didn't have to do too much myself, having that, Reventon to liaise, with different people in Perth has been really helpful as well.
It's fantastic. And you've been getting updates with the construction, how that's all going?
Yes, photographs, it's been great. Yes, getting to see the process happen actually in real time, I guess. Yeah. Which
has been great. And myself personally, I've been up there probably about 4 times, sighted your property through construction, through its initial phases, before you actually settled on the allotment. So went and sighted the allotment and said, okay, great location, having a look at, I suppose, the dwelling that we were going to put on it, and then seeing the dwelling through different stages as well. You'll be happy to know that your supervisor that you have up there was one of the best supervisors in the south. Which is great. And I think the time frame, and I suppose having some dates to how everything was progressing, did you find that they were timely with doing those sorts of things?
I think so. Certain things took a little bit longer, but then other things would speed along really nicely. So I think overall it's probably been about a year, I think, since kind of committing and deciding this is what we're going to do. And now talking to a property manager just last week about actually starting to lease it out. So it's kind of really coming to the close, I guess. I'd say pretty impressed with how things moved along. And seeing actual photos was a highlight, because I'm looking at it going, you say all these things, but without actually seeing, and knowing that you were able to go down there and have a look at the property and, check in that it was actually going well, and everything we're hearing back was, sailing along nicely, was really positive.
Fantastic. And how did you find your engagement with now, I suppose, the property management? Have they spoken to you about how things are going in the market?
Yes, they've been really good.
Especially tenants?
Met with them on Zoom the other day, and they haven't put it to market yet, but they were confident they possibly won't even need to, because the strength is really there, and they already have people apparently lined up, so they're quite confident that it will be a really quick transition, which is fabulous.
It's great to hear. And I believe when we were working out, I suppose, our projections and our cash flow analysis, when we were looking at the rental yield that we'll be receiving. We were quite conservative
Yes.
with that. And I think we're probably about 20% above.
Yeah, I'd say so, because looking at what I've just signed off on for the management approval, they're putting it up for $600 to $700 a week. So that is, significantly more than what we discussed ages ago. But they're confident they've already got people that are really keen on new builds particularly, and that apparently is a real market for them. So
fantastic. Well, you'll be happy to know, and I'm not sure if you have been sort of keeping up to date with the progression of the suburb, but days on market in those areas now is around about a week.
Yeah, wow.
So most properties having offers on them within 3 days. So that definitely shows great strength in that area.
Yes.
And you'll also be happy to know that based on the price that you purchased the property, if we were to put that property on the market now, you're probably up at about $120,000.
Yeah, wow. Which is pretty amazing, given that, we chose a bit of land and just sort of a few things happened, and it's pretty impressive.
And I suppose sort of looking at it, and when we first had our initial discussions, thinking about, okay, well, I've sort of put some money together. Is this going to be the right move for me sort of going forward?
Yes.
Would have been some questions that I know you asked me, and you probably were asking yourself the same questions.
Yeah, it is definitely a leap, that's for sure.
Yeah,
particularly if you haven't done this before, you hear all the positive stories from other people, but you still have to trust, that you're in the right hands, I guess, and you trust yourself a little bit too. So hearing before we even got a tenant that it's such a positive growth is really fabulous. Yeah.
No problems. Well, it's great to hear that you've taken the sort of leap of faith into getting into the market, and it's great to see that I suppose some of the things that we forecast have now come to fruition. I'm really happy for you. I know that to be able to do what you've done, it does take time, and I suppose a bit of faith in an organisation to take that sort of step forward, and you've been able to do that. And I think that now, by sort of securing your first investment, it's definitely going to put you in a place of strength and empower you to sort of look at what you can continually do going forward. So congratulations. I'm really happy for you, and I'm glad that I was a small part of that process for you, but really want to say well done. I know that sort of looking at it, just working yourself, saving some money for a deposit, and really sort of saying, okay, I'm going to put myself out there to do something is not an easy feat. And again, with your age, there's not many people that actually get into the market at such a young age. So congratulations, and really looking forward to seeing your next steps when it comes to investing, and I'll be looking forward to reviewing how things are going for you, and we'll continue to touch base every 6 to 12 months just to make sure that that process is going okay. We'll give you some updates on how things are tracking with your investment, so your journey's not over with us here at Reventon. It's just beginning, but I really want to say well done in taking that leap of faith. And as I said, I remember when we first sat down in the boardroom, and we had a bit of a chat. And we were sort of going backwards and forwards to, okay, why are we looking at these markets? Where was the affordability at? And things like that. And there was some movement at that time. But I think ultimately, with all the information that you were given, you were able to make a pretty sound decision. And it's definitely going to help you going forward. So thanks a lot for having faith in myself and the team here at Reventon. But we're, as I said, really thankful and happy for you that you've taken that step forward. So well done.
Thank you very much. It's quite exciting at this end of things, and thank you personally as well for your communication along the way, just keeping me updated with what's happening and sort of explaining it in everyday people terms as well, because obviously it's all new.
I think I flicked you a couple of text messages.
Yeah, that's right, some photographs, some updates. It was really good, so thank you very much for that.
Really appreciate
it. Thank you.
Great. Excellent.
You are gonna find your place, child.